Hello, everybody. Okay, my name's Geeta Ludra, and I'm a core member of the primary English teaching team here. I used to lead the primary programme at Brunel University for several years, but most lecturers are off on leave at the moment, so I am doing your webinar for this afternoon. I'm hoping that it's going to be quite informal and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. If there are any questions that I can't answer, I'm going to encourage you to email myself or the current course leader, who is Lorraine McCormack, and one of us will respond to your query. I hope that's okay. Okay, I'm going to make a start. First of all, you should have all been offered a place, I hope, and you may have some conditions, or you may have confirmed now that you're definitely keen to come on board and join us in September. And of course, we're really looking forward to you joining us. So I'm going to go through a few things, and at the end of each slide, what I'm going to do is just pause and ask if there are any questions at that time. Okay. Let's try and move the slide. Okay, just bear with me for a second. We're trying to move the slideshow. Okay. First slide is about pre-course tasks, and hopefully you'll have now confirmed your degree classification, and we appreciate that some of you may be mature students, so that may not be an issue, and provide evidence to admissions that you have met your conditions, and provided your information form and read the pre-course task booklet of professional learning activities to be completed prior to starting the course. Are there any more questions at this point? Yep. If you've got any questions on that slide, feel free to ask away now. Hello, any questions? No. Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, the first slide, well, second slide rather, talks about the modules. And I know that you will have been told about the 3 key modules on the primary PGCE at interview. But I'm just going to go over them briefly again, just in case any of you are really enthusiastic and you want to do some pre-reading or catch up with existing teachers about any of these areas. So the first module that you'll cover is on behaviour management. And as you'll appreciate from the media, there is a huge focus on this area and this teaching standard. So we start you off with a really good grounding by providing a big emphasis on this. It's a 0 credit rated module, and that doesn't mean that we don't give it a strong emphasis. It's just because it's the first assignment. Right. Ellen, you've said, is anyone else getting interference with the sound? Yeah. Is anybody else? Do feel free to type in. I'm sorry, all I can hear is interference. Okay, sorry about that. We're going to get the technician now. Okay, I'm not going to carry on right yet because it sounds like there's a lot of interference. If anyone else is getting interference or anything, feel free to type away. Okay, it seems a little bit better now. I'm not hearing interference, so maybe some of you are doing things, or you're taking the mics off or something. So it seems like there's less interference. Sarah, you've just said I'm planning to use much clearer now. Fabulous. Okay, I'm going to carry on. So the first module is on behaviour management. And what I was saying is there is a huge focus on behaviour management across, well, for all teachers, for trainee teachers, and it's an emphasis that the government would like us to, well, place a strong emphasis in our training on and the work that you'll do in schools. So the first assignment is 0 credit rated, and you will submit this towards the end of October. It's a 2,000 word essay written in continuous prose with a very slimline portfolio that will be attached. We appreciate that this is really early on in the course, and you will be supported by the lecturing team as well as your personal tutor as necessary. So that's the first module, and as I've just said, that's 0 credit rated. Okay, any questions on the first module on behaviour management? Just wait a few seconds in case. No? Okay, the second module is on special educational needs and disabilities, the abbreviation for which is SEND, and I'm sure a lot of you will be aware of that abbreviation. This module is awarded 30 credits, 30 master's level credits, and it is conducted in your second term, submitted early January. Now, as I've just said, the first module is a 2,000 word essay with a slimline portfolio. Your special educational needs module is a presentation, and you'll deliver a short presentation to the member of staff who is assessing you, possibly a school-based colleague as well, and your presentation will focus on the needs of one child who has specific learning difficulties in the school that you have been in, and you're going to talk about and report on how you've been working with this child across the core subjects in English, mathematics and science. Students find this module really, really useful. They talk about it at interview, they talk about it in their personal statements when they're applying for jobs. I've had really positive feedback on how this in-depth case study style of assignment enables you to address the broader needs of the children that you're going to be teaching at whole class. And we have a huge focus on special educational needs across the course. Okay, so that's a PowerPoint presentation along with a slimline portfolio as well of evidence. It's very much connected to what you're going to be doing during your first placement school. So you may, for example, be putting in pieces of evidence of a child's piece of writing. It could be that you've been observing your child with special educational needs in relation to their speaking and listening skills, their ability in number, their scientific or conceptual understanding, for example, in the topic of light or gravity or electricity, etc. So you're going to provide evidence alongside your PowerPoint presentation on this, and you're going to talk to us about that. So like I've said, a really exciting module, but the emphasis is more on you talking about what you found out and presenting some evidence from the child. Okay, any questions on that one? Just wait a few seconds in case you've got any questions about the second bullet point.
Will it be available to be, we should be able to put it up.
Have any questions on him? Yes?
Yeah, we're recording it, so.
Okay, right. The third bullet point relates to curriculum enhancements. And I see this as a unique selling point of the primary course. I lead the curriculum enhancements module alongside Gwen Einerson. I also lead the special educational needs module as well. The curriculum enhancements module is worth 30 credits in total, 30 master's level credits, just like the special educational needs modules. So the special educational needs module and the curriculum enhancement module together make up 60 master's level credits. Okay. Now there are 7 possible choices of curriculum enhancements, and they include, for example, there's 2 on mathematics, there's 2 which are more English related, 1 on physical education, PE, 1 on science, and 1 on computing and Scratch coding software. So there are 7 choices. We can't promise you your first choice, but you will fill in a form towards the start of the course, highlighting your preference. And then we have a certain method of allocating you, and we always try to allocate you within one of your first 3 choices. What I want to stress here is that every single curriculum enhancement is really, really valuable in different ways. It's a unique selling point in the sense that you will have between 7 to 10 days where you're going to be working on the particular choice that you invest in a more in-depth way than just scratching the surface on a normal module. So, for example, the module that I lead on BCI, Bilingualism, Cultures and Identities, you'll be going into different schools with me to explore how schools include for children who have English as an additional language, their cultural, their religious needs, and we'll be talking to school-based experts about that, and you'll also be reading around the theory of EAL pedagogy, English as an additional language, so the theory behind it. You'll be doing the same for mathematics. You'll be doing the same for science and computing and physical education. It's a really, really exciting module. Our external examiners have really praised this module as being quite cutting edge. So they are the 3 key modules that you will be working on, obviously alongside your school-based placements, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. I'm just going to pause there and ask if there are any specific questions on the 3 modules. So in total, the 3 modules are worth 60 master's level credits. Doesn't mean you'll necessarily get them, but that's what they're worth. Is there a presentation for module 3? Okay, really good question. For presentation 3, the curriculum enhancements, there is a presentation. And again, like the special educational needs one, you're going to talk about what you have found out in the area. So we will enrich your understanding of that particular area. And then when you go into your second placement school, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, you're going to look at how you can apply what you've been learning with us and the school partners in that school setting. So for example, if you were working with me on bilingualism, cultures and identities, you may feel that you're really interested in how children who are new arrivals to the country have got limited English skills because they haven't been in the country for very long, how they are inducted through the school systems and processes to develop English language and can be inducted into the school environment and processes. That might be something that really interests you because of the school that you're in. You may be in a school where they've got a high number of children with English as an additional language, but they have advanced level proficiency across languages. So this might be something that really interests you based on the school setting that you're in. And the same for maths, the same for science. You could be really interested in, for example, practical science investigations and how schools develop children's understanding of science, particularly those children with special educational needs through particular software or particular schemes of work. So again, there's a presentation, but this presentation will be delivered not only to the lecturer who's leading that particular strand that you've opted into, but also the students in your group. And at the moment, we anticipate no more, or between 15 to 20 students will be following each choice. Okay, again, any questions so far on the modules? Okay. Please don't worry if there aren't any questions right yet, because when you come in during induction, we will answer your questions in the relevant and appropriate induction lecture. Okay? Please don't feel you have to know everything right now, because each of these modules will have about 1.5 to 2 hours allocated to it during induction week, and the module leaders will go through what the module entailed, the key assessment criteria, and we'll offer you an opportunity to ask us questions early on in the course so that you feel really, really clear about the different aspects of it. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide now, which is about teaching sessions at university. How will you be taught? Okay. Now, some of you may have friends or people who have attended the university last year on the PGCE or previously, so they may have given you an insight as to how the teaching sessions are delivered here. First thing I want to stress is that it's a partnership approach. So it's not just about us as lecturers delivering lectures. We work really closely with our school-based partners and experts, and they are part of our training provision. So what you will find when you come here is some of the seminars which are conducted in your small tutor groups of between 25 to 30 students, and the lectures will involve school-based practitioners. Even if not face-to-face, the school-based experts will be involved in the planning of our sessions because they're at the chalk face. So you will have some whole cohort lectures where all of you will be together. You'll have some whole cohort lectures with secondary students as well, which form part of your general professional studies. And we look at cross-phase work, and we're really excited about that this year because what it will allow our primary and secondary students to do is to see how the other half works, so to speak. So as primary students, you'll be gaining insights into what the secondary students are doing in secondary and vice versa. That forms part of our general professional studies. So the general professional studies will all be conducted through lectures, and at the end of each of the general professional studies lectures, you'll have professional learning activities. And these are activities that you're going to follow up in school so that the theory we teach you here is put into practice, and you can really make sense of what we're telling you and talk to school-based experts about that. So we have whole cohort lectures. Now the whole cohort lectures are not delivered so that you're just sitting there for 1.5 hours or 2 hours in a passive way. They are interactive. You'll have pre-reading, there'll be activities within that lecture, and you'll have post-session follow-up, which may include readings, which it may include some practical work in schools. Now the same applies to the core subject-based lectures for English, maths, science, etc. Okay, the art ones, the PE ones, will be mainly in seminars because they're very, very practical. So you'll have seminars as well, and sometimes you may be expected to lead the seminars in pairs, in small groups. So for example, one of the seminar sessions that I lead early on in the programme is on story sacks, which is part of your pre-course pack. And in that session, I'll prep you beforehand. I'll ask you to bring in what have you prepared on the story sack. You'll bring in your book, you'll bring in the resources that you've created, and you're going to share those with other students in the group. And it's a kind of collective process of learning when we're learning from each other, and I'll facilitate the session. And it's the same for number. Dr. Gwen Einerson, who leads the maths programme, she'll be leading a session where you will lead in pairs a session on mental maths. So you'll work with another student in your tutor group, and you're going to talk to other students for 5 to 10 minutes about the importance of mental maths and how you might deliver an activity on an area of mental mathematics. And the same applies to other subjects as well, to varying degrees. So we have seminars, we have online discussion forums as well, we have a virtual learning environment, Blackboard Learn, and sometimes after a session, we may ask you to post your reflections of what you've learnt in that session or what you've learnt in school onto a discussion board. And what this allows you to do as a student and us to see as the lecturers is how you've reflected critically and how you've engaged and participated in that learning with other students as well and taken your learning forward. Okay. Some of the teaching sessions will require you to submit work that you've done in school. So for example, you'll go into school, you may plan a lesson in depth in a particular area, and you may be asked to upload that to our virtual learning environment, and other students may be asked to respond to that. Now, the key thing that you need to know is our aim as lecturers is that the teaching that you receive is multifaceted. So you receive a combination of different teaching and learning styles. And as you will appreciate, children have different learning styles in school, so we try to mirror that here at university. If you have any specific learning needs that we need to be aware of, it could be that those learning needs are registered with our Disability and Dyslexia Service, and as tutors we would be made aware of those beforehand. So it could be, for example, that you need slides 48 hours before, you need photocopiable materials beforehand, that you need the session recorded, and we will address those individualised needs as best as we can. So if for any reason you haven't registered those needs, just feel free during that induction week to talk to your personal tutor or one of the lecturers, and we'll make sure that those learning needs are addressed. Okay, any questions so far? No? The other thing it may be worth me stressing, the teaching sessions at university, and I know you were told about this at interview, can start at 8 o'clock. None of you are wincing there behind the screen now, but the nature of the timetable and the intensity of the course means that some of your sessions will commence at 8 a.m. and possibly finish at 6 p.m. That's not every single day, but on some occasions that may be the case. We'd just like to highlight that to you, so in case you've got any childcare or carer duties, you can make provision now, or start approaching some nice, friendly, supportive people who may be able to help you. Okay? Okay, the next slide is about school placements, and I'm sure... Oh, okay. Story Sack, does it have to be for Key Stage 1? Okay, somebody's just asked a question about the Story Sack. Does it have to be for Key Stage 1 or Key Stage 2? That's a really good question. And if I haven't addressed it in your pre-course task, I'll just make it clear again. It can be for either. So you choose one of the key stages that you're particularly interested in. Okay. Okay, the next slide on school placements. This is probably the slide that you're really interested in because you're coming into teaching, you want to be working with children in schools, and this is the area that most students have questions about, even during their induction and during interview. Now, there are 2 placement schools on the whole that you're going to be going into. So I'm going to start by focusing on those and the dates. And I know you've been told this at interview, but it probably seems like a long way away. So your first block placement is called the FSE, the Foundation Stage Experience. And this lasts between 9 to 10 weeks, and it's conducted between September to December. Okay, so your foundation school experience, and you'll be prepared for that first placement at university, and you're going to be working really closely with your mentor in school and your university-based advisor who is a link tutor. So you'll be fully supported, and when you're at university early on in the course in September, we're going to be setting you professional learning activities that you're going to focus on when you go into that placement. So it could be in English, for example, I ask you to focus on how children's writing is assessed. How are children taught how to read? What kind of reading schemes are being used? There's a big focus on phonics. The maths team and the science team will also set you particular learning activities in school. Gwen, for example, will get you looking at mental mathematics and how maths is taught in school, the teaching of number, how mathematical investigations are taught and assessed in schools, how they're planned for, how they're delivered. Okay, so that's your first school placement, and you're not going to be left alone during those 9 to 10 weeks. You'll be closely linked up with your university-based personal tutor, and I really want to praise the personal tutoring service here because it's in-depth. We offer weekly office hours, 2 hours every week for you to meet your personal tutor should you wish to. You can email your personal tutor for support. You can phone them if you can't get into university and you live far away. So you're really, really supported by your personal tutor. And you're also going to be assigned an academic advisor, a linked tutor, who's going to be linked up to your school if you've got any issues of any kind. And obviously you're going to be working really closely with your class teacher in school. So that's your first school placement. Okay. Your second school placement is called the DSE/CSE. DSE stands for Developmental School Experience. So you're developing and you're building on those skills from the foundation stage, which then moves up to your CSE, Consolidation School Experience, where you'll have really developed your skills and you're really perfecting those teaching skills, ready for when you become a newly qualified teacher and you secure your first post in September. Okay, and your second placement takes place between February to May. Now, your 2 school placements will not be in the same key stage. We cannot guarantee which key stage you'll have across each placement. If your first school placement is in Key Stage 1, your second school placement will be in Key Stage 2, and vice versa. We can't guarantee which key stage you're going to be in, but all we can tell you is that they will be different key stages. Now, this year we're also offering some students the opportunity to do a 1-week placement in a special school placement for children with specific learning difficulties, or a special school or a pupil referral unit. Not everybody will be offered this opportunity. If during your second placement you receive outstanding against the teaching standards and you are doing really, really well, we will invite you to apply for this. The numbers are limited, but it's a really good enrichment experience to add to your CV if it's something that interests you. It's not obligatory, we just offer this opportunity. Okay. Any questions on school placements at all? I'll just pause because I know this is the area that most people will be interested in because it takes up 120 days of the year on the course. And like I say again, don't feel that, oh gosh, I've got a question, but I can't think, I'm embarrassed to ask it, or I can't think of anything right yet. During induction, there's going to be lots and lots of opportunities to ask questions. Okay, a question has just come up. Is there a list of schools that you are partners with? We do work with a lot of schools, over 100 partnership schools. We don't necessarily publish that list, but our partnership development unit work really closely with schools who we have vetted through a set criteria. And what they will do is they will look at your individualised needs, and your individualised needs may include carer duties, where you live, your form of transport, you may have specific learning difficulties, etc. And they will allocate you accordingly. Okay, so that's how it works. Will there be an opportunity for you to be moved schools if there was a problem? Now, there's a long answer to that. Usually students don't move placement because the support structures that are in place, we like to think they're rigorous and the schools have been vetted properly, as have your mentors. If there was a problem for any reason, we have lots and lots of support people who are in place to help that transition if it's needed. So you'll have your personal tutor who's working really closely with you on a weekly basis, your linked tutor who's assigned to your school from the university. If there's a problem, you would email him or her, and they're experts in school. And you'd also have your school-based mentor and the person who oversees student training in school. Okay, so we've got really, really high quality support systems in place. In terms of can you choose your own, just going back to the questions, will there be an opportunity to be placed within reception class? Our course is 5 to 11, so we don't place students in reception or foundation stage. However, what we do is encourage you when you're on placement to go into the reception and foundation stage part of the school, because we believe that the early year setting is really valuable for you to see where children come from. Now, I appreciate that some of you may be experts in this area from your teaching assistant work or nursery nurse work, but it's very different when you move into that student teacher role. So we'll encourage you to spend some time there, but that's not the focus of our course. Okay, I'm just moving down questions. Can we find our own placement? Now, we find your placements for you because we have a partnership development unit, the PDU, and the PDU will find your placement based on our relationships with schools, what we know about the mentors there, etc. Are the schools mainly located around Uxbridge? Now, it makes sense for us as a university to have the schools mainly located around Uxbridge. However, we do go broader as well. As you'll appreciate, there are several teacher training institutions and we're all competing for places. So some of the places will be further afield, and you will be expected or can be expected to travel an hour, hour and a half to your placement school. We're not going to go out of our way to put you somewhere far away because obviously we want you to have a pleasant journey, but it's important that we stress that it could be a longer journey. So some of you may have longer journeys, some of you may have shorter journeys, and that depends on your individualised needs, who offers this placements, etc. But the Partnership Development Unit have a set of criteria. Okay. Do both of the placements have to be in a mainstream school? Okay. Most of our students do both of their placements in a mainstream school. However, we do have a small number of schools which focus on children with specific learning difficulties. For example, Hillingdon Manor, who we work really closely with. And if you express an interest in working in a special school, and we have the placements and the mentoring to support that, and we feel that you're able to do a placement in that setting based on your previous experience, we will try our very best to address that. Are the schools mainly located? We've answered that. Thank you. Do we spend time in all the year groups when we're in block placements or just one class? Really good question, Rachel Arnold. Now then, you will be in one particular year group. So when you're on placement 1, you'll spend time in that year group. When you're on placement 2, you'll spend time in that particular year group. However, like I said about foundation stage, we will encourage you to go and spend some time across year groups. So you have something called PPA time, planning, preparation and assessment time, which is roughly half a day a week. And we encourage you during that time, for example, if you're in a year 2 classroom, we'd say, well, you know, it really makes sense for you to go up to year 6 or look at how other year groups operate.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Will our placements be considered based on our key stage preferences? You don't express a key stage preference necessarily because you have to do both key stages as part of the course. Are the placements in secular schools? We have a range of placement settings. We have faith-based schools, we have mainstream schools, we have academies, and we use a whole range. We use the whole breadth of schools. As long as we acknowledge that those training placements are valuable and useful in terms of helping you to meet the teaching standards. Are we allowed to choose which year group we are placed in? No, you're not allowed to choose which year group because that very much depends on which year group the school offers. Do the placements available stretch as far as the Woking, Weybridge, Guildford area? In the past, some of them have done, but I can't guarantee that because I don't work necessarily in the Partnership Development Unit, so I don't know which schools have offered us places right yet. Okay. Any other questions on placements? And as I've said, when you come and join the course in September, you can ask questions about that area. Okay? But for now, what I suggest is you just focus on being really excited about going into school, because that's why, you know, you're going to be coming onto the course and you look forward to it. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to move on. Life at Brunel. Now, some of you may be ex-Brunel students, and that's one of the reasons you want to come back and do your PGCE here. The location of Brunel in West London is a really vibrant area. It's cosmopolitan. There's some, you know, you're not far from transport links. We've got a really diverse student cohort, really good facilities on board, and the support that you will be offered is absolutely brilliant here. We have counselling services, disability, dyslexia services, the personal tutoring, your academic advisor, academic writing, some of the social activities that go on here. And there are lots and lots of support services available. And as you see online on our website, you know, we've got a multiple range of things that you can get involved in. Some of you may be really interested in doing stuff above and beyond. For example, you may want to become a staff student liaison committee representative and speak for your tutor group and attend meetings in that area. I run something called Teachers as Writers, which we do over 3 Saturdays in the year. You may be really interested in doing something outside of the kind of core curriculum here, where you're developing your own writing skills and reflecting on that. You may be interested in becoming a peer mentor for maths or English or science, because that's the area of your degree expertise and you want to support other students in that. Okay, so that's life at Brunel. Any questions? No? Okay, when do lectures start? Now, on the slides, I've been told by the course leader this morning that the dates are wrong. So you just need to know that you will be here or needed here from the 1st of September, which is a Tuesday. The day before is a bank holiday, from what I understand. So you need to be here at university on the 1st of September. From the 1st of September to the 4th of September is induction. And during those induction days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to be going over the modules with you. We'll be doing lots and lots of exciting team building activities with you, just so that you become really confident with the students in your tutor group and students across the course, and you develop a real rapport with your personal tutor at university as well. And I understand from the course leader that you have the timetable for those induction days already. You should have that. If you haven't, I will be talking to her after this webinar. So that's induction. Then the lectures, so the proper lectures start from the 7th of September. Now at the moment, the lectures and timetabling was still confirming the actual sessions and when they are. What time do we have to be here on the 1st of September? Now, if it's not on the timetable, it's usually 9 a.m. Okay, so if you assume a 9 a.m. start for that day. Where are the timetables? The formal timetables have not been uploaded yet, but the induction timetable should have been sent to you, I understand. Have you received it, Samantha? Because if not, I'll follow it up. No. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a star there, and I will follow it up with the program leader. Haven't received a timetable yet either. Okay. Okay, I'm going to follow up the induction timetable point as soon as I go back, because it seems like a few of you have just typed in that you haven't received that. I apologise for that, but I will be on the case this afternoon. Okay, and at the moment, as far as it stands, the programme ends on think it says the 17th of June. But please don't cast that in stone and start booking holidays for 17th of June onwards right now, because that depends on you successfully completing all the components of the course. If for any unfortunate reason there is a problem with any component of the course, it could be that your placement is extended, or there's resets of modules, etc. But that's if everything goes hunky-dory, it finishes 17th of June. Okay, another question. Student Finance think we are starting on the 7th of September. Okay, right, I'm going to follow that up as well. It could, Student Finance, okay. If you could, whoever's just posted that question on Student Finance, if you could just email Student Finance about that and just say you've been told it's the 1st. I'm also going to make a note in my little sheet about Student Finance think it's the 7th of September. So I will also follow that up for you. Okay, I'm just seeing what Samantha said here. Samantha said, I called this morning and Student Finance said that the university can make the changes, not us. Okay, I will pursue that for you. The uni have to notify them. Okay, thank you. Right, thank you everybody on that. It's been useful. Okay, any questions? We are really, really excited to see you all in September on the 1st. And we are really looking forward to a new cohort of students and working with you, well, to touch the lives of all the children that we hope that you'll touch. And you should feel really, really proud that you've got to this stage. It's a tough process. You've gone through all the hard work in terms of writing your personal statement, the rigorous interview process, you know, everything you've had to do to get to that stage, the audits, the skills tests. So, you know, give yourselves a big pat on the back for getting to this stage so far. Are there any questions at all that I need to follow up? Okay. What I would like to say, if there are questions after this webinar, please do email one of the members of the team. I'm going to give you the course leader's email first, and her name is Dr. Lorraine McCormack, and that's spelled L-O-R-R-A-I-N-E, Lorraine McCormack, sorry, I've got a blip here. Dr. Lorraine McCormack, M-C-C-O-R-M-A-C-K. If you just type that in to the Brunel webpage, you'll find her web link, and all of the staff have the email address. So it's their first name, so it's lorraine.mccormack@brunel.ac.uk. I would be geeta.ludra@brunel.ac.uk. Okay. But a lot of staff are on leave at the moment. So if you try Lorraine in the first instance, and then you can try myself or Ray Huntley or Gwen Einerson, and one of us will reply. Okay, I'm just looking at your other questions now. Okay, Gemma, what is the process for the government bursary? I can't answer that. I don't deal with the bursary side of stuff. But if you email admissions, they should be able to direct you on that. Okay, does the course continue through half terms? Yes, Cindy. What I would say to you is don't block out anything or holidays or anything for the half term, because you'll find that your half terms are very, very busy. Sometimes there will be sessions at the university where you're coming in to do work. It could be that you're working on an assignment. So my advice to you is do not book anything for half terms. Assume that you will be working, I say working in speech marks in some form. Samantha, what are the dates of the half terms? I can't rattle those off my head. Now some schools, their half terms vary at Easter. So it depends on the borough that you're working in, Samantha. Okay. Like I say, I know that you're going to have lots and lots of things on your mind at the moment, but when you bring those questions with you to induction, write them down in a little book, and at some point during those induction days, either ask those questions in the relevant lecture. If you're feeling a bit shy and you don't want to ask them in the whole lecture forum, you can ask them to your personal tutor, and your personal tutor will address them in the small workshops that you have. When will you be given your placements? Well, you'll be given your placement very soon before you start your placement. So you start placements in, we say October. Just checking my slide. Just bear with me for 1 second. Yep, your first placement starts in September, so you should be told fairly early on in the course. Okay. That's Ellen's question. Gemma, just wanted to ask about the reflections that we need to bring to the first maths and science lectures. Do they need references or are they simply reflections? If the lecturer has not asked you to put references in, then you just write them as reflective pieces. And I don't think they have asked you to reference it based on what I remember. Okay, so simple reflections based on the experiences to date. Okay, any other questions? Okay, otherwise I am assuming that everybody's feeling as okay as can be at this moment in time. Okay. Right, thank you everybody for tuning in to the webinar, and I look forward to seeing you on the 1st of September. Okay, good luck. Okay, I think one question has just come up. Thank you very much. Thank you. How many weeks is the course for? Well, it starts on the 1st of September and it finishes June the 17th if everything goes to plan. Okay. Thank you all and looking forward to seeing you. Okay. Just wait another couple of seconds if anyone's got any questions. And if not, we will be logging off. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Manuela, and everybody else who has logged in. Okay, right. Bye. Have a lovely evening.